On January 7, 2026, U.S. Special Forces launched a daring raid in Caracas, Venezuela. Their target, the Miraflores presidential palace, and Nicolás Maduro, Venezuela's embattled president. This was not a war, but a high-stakes law enforcement action. U.S. officials said they were executing a federal arrest warrant for Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores. The world watched in shock as elite American units descended on the palace before dawn. Venezuelan security forces were caught off guard. After brief firefights, U.S. troops secured the compound and located Maduro and Flores, capturing both within 2 hours. They were swiftly flown out of Venezuela to a secure U.S. airbase in Florida. The Department of Justice confirmed their arrival under heavy guard. This operation marked a dramatic escalation, turning years of legal and diplomatic pressure into direct military action. The White House insisted this was about upholding the law, not regime change. But many saw the lines between law enforcement and military action blur in real time. The U.S. operation was rooted in a 2020 indictment. The Department of Justice charged Maduro and top Venezuelan officials with narco-terrorism, conspiracy to import cocaine, and corruption. Prosecutors alleged Maduro led the Cartel of the Suns, a drug trafficking ring within the Venezuelan government, working with Colombia's FARC to move cocaine into the U.S. A $15 million reward was offered for Maduro's arrest. Celia Flores, his wife, faced separate sanctions and investigations for corruption. Her family's ties to drug trafficking further strengthened the U.S. case. For years, Maduro dismissed the charges as American imperialism. Sanctions and diplomacy failed. U.S. officials argued his regime's criminal ties and alleged support for terrorist groups posed a direct threat to U.S. national security. The decision was made: enforce the arrest warrant by force. Operation Swift Justice was months in the making. Navy SEALs and Delta Force, backed by U.S. Air Force assets, executed a surgical strike to minimize casualties and avoid the appearance of invasion. Helicopters flew low into Caracas. Special forces rappelled onto the palace grounds, and flashbangs disoriented guards. Resistance was brief but fierce. U.S. troops, using superior tactics, quickly overwhelmed Maduro's security and breached his private quarters. Maduro and Flores were found in a bunker and taken into custody without prolonged struggle. The rules of engagement were strict: capture alive unless directly threatened. Extraction was immediate. Both were flown out before Venezuelan forces could respond. The operation was over in under 2 hours, a display of overwhelming speed and precision. The world split over Maduro's capture. Russia, China, and Cuba condemned the U.S. action as a violation of sovereignty and international law. They warned of dangerous precedents. America's European allies acknowledged the charges against Maduro but expressed concern over military force without UN approval. The European Union urged respect for Maduro's legal rights. Latin America was divided. Colombia quietly supported the raid, while Mexico and Argentina condemned it as destabilizing. The Organization of American States held an emergency session, reflecting deep regional divisions. Human rights groups questioned the precedent of using military force to arrest a foreign leader. The world was left to debate: when do criminal charges justify such action? U.S. officials stressed this was not an invasion or regime change, but a law enforcement mission. The White House compared it to the 1989 capture of Panama's Manuel Noriega, another head of state brought to trial in the U.S. for drug crimes. By framing the operation as a police action, the U.S. sought to justify it legally and diplomatically. The administration insisted there were no plans for a long-term military presence in Venezuela, only a commitment to justice and support for a democratic transition. With Maduro and Flores in custody, the focus now shifts from the battlefield to the courtroom, where a historic legal battle is about to begin.